It is Monday, July 25th, 2022. It's almost 10 minutes after 10. We apologize to the community for our delayed start this morning. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Good morning. As a reminder to all in attendance, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the county's YouTube page. Calling the roll, Ms. Stevens.
Present.
Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones is absent at the moment. Ms. Simon. Ms. Simon is absent at the moment. Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
Ms. Baker. Ms. Baker is absent at the moment.
Madam Clerk, beside us today we have Mr. Miller and Ms. Turner. I'd like to ask that they be recognized as members of the community. Conversation has been held with the council president, and that will help us establish quorum.
Thank you. Mr. Miller is present. And Ms.
Here.
Councilmember Turner?
Here.
Present. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Is there any public comment?
Yes. Lou?
Good morning, everybody. I'm here to show the appreciation to all county council members' hard efforts to use very limited funds, but to serve the purpose of this American Rescue Plan funding, to help out all the communities to get some improvement they have been needed. It could be even for decades. On the other hand, yes, I would like to emphasize again, I don't like the process. It's because this particular thing we are doing here should have been the main part after the county allocated most of the ARPA funds into the county revenue loss. Because this is a rare chance. However, county executive offered lots of projects. He said they should be funded, but we don't really see a clear guideline, proper line items to actually fulfill the purpose of ARPA funds. So I want to be here to appreciate all of your hard working and all the cities brave enough to come up with whatever they needed to get everything better so we can thrive together. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
No, that concludes the public comment portion for this meeting. And at this time, I would like the record to reflect that Councilmember Jones is in attendance.
Thank you. At this time, we need to, if everyone has had a chance to review the minutes for the last meeting, which was Thursday, July 14th of the Community Development Committee, is there a motion for approval? Is there a second? Thank you. Moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? With no opposition, the minutes have been approved from the last meeting on July 14th. Madam Clerk, let us begin our committee meeting today.
Matters referred to committee. Resolution 2022-0220, awarding a total sum not to exceed $1,200,000 to the City of Bay Village for the Cahoon Memorial Park Lakefront Project from the District 1 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Is there someone to speak to this item on our agenda today? As you come to the podium, would you please remember to identify yourself, your role, and the community or entity that you represent?
Thank you very much, Chairperson Stevens, and the committee for hearing us this morning. I'm Mayor Paul Kumar from the City of Bay Village. With me today, I have our project manager, Catherine Kerber, and in the audience, our city engineer, Don Barut. Just a few quick comments before I turn it over to Catherine, and she can provide some more details on the project. Back in 2016, Cuyahoga County Planning Commission completed a master plan for the City of Bay Village. One of their recommendations was a continuing dedication to quality parks, recreation, and specifically to Lake Erie. Based on that, we've done some additional work and grant work, and Catherine can take it over from here and explain that to you.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Catherine Kerber, project manager for the City of Bay Village. I sent in a presentation that should be...
Look to the clerk to see if she's received it.
There it is.
Okay.
Do I advance the slides or?
Yes, there's a clicker right there. You just click the green button.
The big green button?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you very much for your time. We'll try to keep this brief and keep it moving. We're here to talk about the Cahoon Park Lakefront project. Cahoon Park, if you're not familiar with it, quick overview, it's 116 acres with 2,000 feet of shoreline. That's 14% of the publicly accessible shoreline in Cuyahoga County. It's been the subject of 3 planning studies recently, 2 in 2016 and 2017. NOACA did a Cahoon Park connectivity study, and county planning, as the mayor said, helped us with a citywide master plan that was finalized in 2017. Based on those 2 plans, more than $4.4 million worth of improvements have been made in the park since 2018. They've been focused on connectivity into and within the park, ADA accessibility, and outdoor recreation and wellness. So to see what that looks like on the map, there's the map again, and here are all of the recent improvements in white, some pending improvements in blue. The Cahoon Basin Trail is a 1,200-foot multi-purpose trail that goes straight through the park all the way to the lakefront. It goes under Lake Road Bridge. We've got a new restroom. We've got a pedestrian bridge pending, and a lot of great improvements in the park recently. They've all been designed, as I said, to increase accessibility, particularly to the lakefront. And while we've done a lot there, we didn't really have a solid plan for the lakefront yet. So we applied for and were awarded a CMAG grant from ODNR to do a lakefront master plan. So for that plan, we worked with Smith Group and did an extensive study of the lakefront area. A lot of public input meetings, online surveys, and small group meetings with a lot of regional stakeholders. They also did a geotechnical study, and all of this confirmed what we already suspected. People want more lakefront access, and our shoreline is crumbling. It's 20 to 40-foot bluffs all the way along, or most of the way along, and it all needs some help before things fall into the lake. So the Smith Group plan actually enables us to address both of those concerns by pulling back the bluff, as they say, which is sort of skimming off that leading edge of the bluff, and armoring the toe of the bluff and adding multi-purpose trails. So to show you what that looks like, this is a picture of the bluff as it currently exists. You can see there's a tree about to fall into the lake. To the right, there's a chain link fence and a park bench, and then there's a walking trail just to the right. And it's all about to fall into the lake, and public access is extremely limited. Under the Smith Group plan, it could look like this. You see the edge of the bluff is pulled back. There's a public access trail to the lake, a terraced area for sunset viewing, and so it accomplishes both things. It provides public access, and it protects it environmentally for generations to come. Here's another view. This area is called Bay Point. It's a really unique piece of land. You can see downtown Cleveland shoreline from out there, but at the moment it's really inhospitable. And you can also see the bluff from the north there. It's equally foreboding. So under the new plan, it would be much more friendly to people and wildlife. Pebble coves along the edge, great area for fish. There's space for native plantings for birds and butterflies that are migrating across the lake, and people can get down there. You know, people of all physical abilities can get down to the lakefront. So, as I said, it's a comprehensive plan, a really big project. So Smith Group helped us break down the plan into more manageable pieces. So we are focusing on the area called A, that big green area in the middle that includes the Bay Point area, and then working west toward Huntington Reservation, which is to the west. And speaking of Huntington Reservation, they are an excellent neighbor. Combined, we have 218 acres of public land with 4,200 feet of lakefront, which is 30% of the lakefront in Cuyahoga County. The parks offer really different outdoor recreation experiences. Huntington is about the beach and wooded trails. Cahoon Park is more open space and athletic fields. And this project would continue that diversity of offerings by having a trail at the lakefront and fishing opportunities instead of beach area. Zooming out a little bit, as the mayor mentioned, Cuyahoga County has been very interested in the park as well, and the recently completed Lakefront Public Access Plan includes the Cahoon Park Lakefront as a top-rated primary route. So this was in the Cuyahoga County Lakefront Public Access Plan, And we're very excited to be part of that. And zooming out a little further, NOACA is also working on their Lake Erie Connect plan, working not just east to west, but also north to south. And in terms of north-south corridors, Dover Center Road is this one right here, and it leads directly to the project area. So we are very excited to be part of all of these regional initiatives because the Cahoon Park Lakefront has the potential to become a regional lakefront destination and a standard for shoreline stewardship, and we hope that you will help us make it a reality. Thank you very much. If there are any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
Madam Chair, if you could turn your microphone on, we can't hear you.
I'm sorry. I'm asking for questions from any of my colleagues. Mr. Gallagher.
Thank you for being here today, Mayor, ma'am. This is my old stomping grounds, Rocky River, Bay, Lakewood, a little bit of Westlake back in my day. Mayor, we're about the same age. Westlake was all kind of vineyards at the time, and Fairview Park. But when the Republican convention was here, I went down to the opening night, and the opening night was people from everywhere but Cleveland or Ohio, really. And
I was down there.
The one thing, just about. And the comments that we got, the one I thought that was the most stunning to me is how we take the lake and the lakefront as though it's for granted. And someone, I forget, they were from Texas, I believe, said, you know, I knew you had a lake, but I didn't know you had an ocean. And then when you look at the lake, you realize what they see that you now see. And incorporating plans like this into our ocean is anything but positive for Northeast Ohio, and with Rocky River and Lakewood doing what they did with that horrible cliff. It turned out to be a fabulous place to just go sit and enjoy a sunset. I think this will be a great amenity to the city of Bay Village and their residents. So good luck with your plans.
Thank you.
Thank you. As a recovering planner, I'm glad to see that you are doing this. For years, I walked the 3-day, and we started out at the west end of Cuyahoga County. And for those of us who weren't exhausted at the first evening, when we landed back in Westlake at the rec facility, we'd sometimes end up at the lake watching the sunset. I'm glad that you're investing more in it. Mayor, thank you for your vision on this and your commitment to figure out how to put the funding together to make this happen. This kind of investment is one of the things this council is really proud that ARPA funds are capable of doing. Middle-class communities receiving the investment of the dollars they pay to the federal government back in their communities, directly benefiting them and their families from multiple jurisdictions. Because when a family has an evening together or an afternoon together and they end up at your parkland, the siblings and cousins may be from 5 or 6 municipal jurisdictions, not just yours. So thank you for creating this for the bigger community. Any of my colleagues have anything to say? At this point in time, do I have a motion to move forward?
Motion to move this resolution to the next full council meeting with the recommendation of passage.
Is that a second from you, Mr. Gallagher?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, Mr. Mayor. You're moving forward to the full council.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
at this time, I would like the record to reflect that Councilmember Simon is here.
Thank you.
And also for this item, Councilmember Gallagher has requested to be a sponsor for this item.
I'll add my name as well.
Thank you.
I'd like to add my name as well.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, please add my name as well.
Okay. Thank you. Now let us move to the next item on our agenda.
Resolution 2022-0223, awarding a total sum not to exceed $1 million to the City of Westlake for the purpose of demolition of the Parkside Intermediary School to facilitate construction of the Parkside Park and athletic fields from the District 1 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
And who is here to represent the community today? Good morning.
Good morning.
Kyle.
It's been a little while. Madam Chair, I have our engineer, Robert Kelly, Our Recreation Director, Paula Horner, and I'm Mayor Dennis Clough from the City of Westlake, and we're pleased to be able to be here to ask for some additional funding that we can take a abandoned school building of over 70,000 square feet, demolish it, and do some site work on this area in order to improve recreational opportunities in the City of Westlake. I will have our engineer, Robert Kelly, to do a little bit more of a presentation. Hopefully you all have a copy of that.
No, but they're bringing it up on the screen.
Thank you.
Good morning. Once again, this is called the Parkside School. It was an old elementary school.
Because we are recording this and sometimes things get clipped, we need each person as they begin to speak to identify themselves.
Robert Kelly, City Engineer, City of Westlake.
Thank you.
Thank you. So this is the Parkside Elementary School renovation project. As what the mayor said, it's a school. It was built in 1963, and now they built a new school, and the school system gave the city this land. So what our plan is to come on in here and raise the building. It's up on a site a little over 8 acres big. It has an existing parking lot, driveways, and what our goal is to remove the school itself, keep the driveways and the parking lot, and then go ahead and put in some passive fields. We have to install some drainage. We have to do some pavement repair, put in some landscaping, and then build some trails so people can convey around the park. The park itself project has a budget here. It's easier if I just look down at this, about $1.6 million. The demolition itself is about $1.2 million. And the project is scheduled to start this fall. We plan on going out to bid in September to raise the building, have the building completely raised by the end of the year, and by next summer have the parks put in. A little something about the park itself. The city has done a master recreation study throughout the city. We had public workshops, we had mail surveys, we had web surveys, we had advisory committees, and we had stakeholders meetings. These meetings took place over a series of a year, and one of the things was the community really wanted was additional trails and additional parks. A little bit about the building. Like Mayor said, 70,000 square feet. These are just some pictures of it. Part of it's starting to fall down. We had a condition assessment done in 2016, and the building had a roof problems, mechanical problems, and electrical problems. These are just some more pictures of the building itself, and that's our presentation.
Are there any questions from my colleagues?
No, Madam Chair, I just wanted to confirm the property was owned by the city, and it is, and was being leased to the school, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. I can make a motion if there's no questions.
If there are no further questions, I'll accept your motion.
Thank you. I'm going to make a motion that this resolution be moved to the next full council meeting with a recommendation of passage for second reading.
Second.
And there's a second from Councilman Gallagher. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, Mr. Mayor. You're moving forward to full council.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
again, at this time, I would like to add Councilmember Gallagher as a sponsor to this item.
Would anyone else like to be added at this time?
Let's add my name.
I can add my name as well.
Thank you. Okay, let us move on to the next item on the agenda.
Resolution 2022-0224, awarding a total sum not to exceed $500,000 to the Beck Center for the Arts for infrastructure needs from the District 2 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Thank you. And who is here to represent the city?
Hi, I'm Larry Goodpaster. I'm Director of Operations and Finance, and with me is Megan DeFranco, our Director of Development.
For the city or for Beck Center?
For Beck Center.
Okay.
For Beck Center, I'm sorry.
So I was like, I thought you were with Beck Center.
Yes, I am with Beck Center. So For those of you not familiar with Beck Center is a landmark in Lakewood, Ohio. We've been there since 1933. We serve approximately 60,000 people per year, both within the Beck Center and out in the community. We have a professional theater. We have classes in all of the arts disciplines, and we have a gallery on space. As an entertainment venue, we were devastatingly hit by the pandemic, as most entertainment venues were. We were the first to suffer revenue declines, and we are likely going to be the last to recover from that. Over the course of the pandemic, so far we lost over $2.5 million of revenue. And we're very grateful. We have benefited a lot from the federal pandemic relief funds, but we had planned on doing a number of infrastructure projects during that time period, and they all had to be put off because the money was sapped away by the pandemic. So for our proposal that we put in, our roof on our main building is getting pretty old. I've got pictures later. We had proposed replacing that roof at $300,000. During the pandemic, we ended up discovering some flooring issues in the back of what is often known as the Armory building. It's our Music and Creative Arts Therapies building. That was secondary to some grading that the city of Lakewood did behind us, and so we had joist sinking at the back. In fact, the people whose offices are back there can get up from their chair, and their chair will move against the wall because the floor slopes. So we have repairs in the flooring, and then in our main building, we have 3 rooftop units that were installed in 1998, and they're reaching the end of their lifespan. And then finally, we have some entryway flooring in our main building where we had parquet flooring that we had intended to preserve at some point in time. We put some other floating floor on top of it, and have discovered it holds water and it buckles the top floor. So we have these different capital needs, and the project total was $905,000, and our original ARPA request was $750,000. ARPA recommended, or the council recommended $500,000 to us, and we have figured out how to cover that gap. We will have an additional $200,000 of community fundraising. We will be putting $200,000 in from operating, and we will utilize the $500,000 from the ARPA funds to make up the gap. So if you go further on, this is the floor, this is the roof of our main building. The yellow areas are the roofs that need replaced. These are mainly foam roofs, and so they'll have to be scraped down, but it is a more efficient cost-wise roofing material. And then the 3 arrows, which are a little bit smaller, are the HVAC units that need replaced. And then just little highlights of the flooring and joist repairs. But this is the project that we want to accomplish. Our timeline that was in the original proposal is slightly delayed because, believe it or not, you can't find a roofer that's going to do a big project in the fall.
I believe.
So we've already scheduled this for next year for the roofing, and we will coordinate that with the HVAC replacement if we are able to secure these funds. Any questions for me?
Mr. Gallagher?
Thanks for being here. I grew up in Lakewood, and the Beck Center's always been that little jewel down on Detroit Avenue there. But when I got married to the Queen, that's where our reception was. So a little connection there, fantastic facility, seen many plays and other events there. So can't be more than happy to provide these funds for such a great institution that has anchored the city of Lakewood for so many years.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Mr. Miller.
Madam Chair and my colleagues, the Beck Center is one of the premier arts and culture institutions in the entire west side of Cuyahoga County. And it plays a critical role not only in the arts but also in education. It has a large number of classes and training programs related to the arts, so it performs a critical role in that area as well. This program is part of a much larger capital improvement program that's been ongoing for the last several years, and I would just ask if you could say a little bit to put this in the larger context of the upgrade that's currently underway at the Beck Center.
So in 2015, Beck Center embarked upon their first capital campaign in recent history. It might have been their first capital campaign. And there were a lot of deferred maintenance items, but the main thing that we wanted to accomplish with this was to freshen up all of our classrooms and make sure that our entire facility was ADA accessible. And we were able to achieve that. We had a $6.7 million campaign. A lot of the deferred maintenance that we're referring to in here, some of it was in that campaign, but the construction ended up happening during the pandemic, and those supply chain costs ate into some of that money as well. But we currently have an ongoing capital campaign. None of these individual things are in that campaign, but we have one more phase, which is adding a dance studio and refreshing the front of the building. We are taking down the building that blocks the view of the main campus, and that'll happen in the fall. And this will be, I should have brought a rendering this. It'll be a very, very beautiful place to approach from either direction, and it won't be hidden by the buildings beside it.
So, thank you very much. And the Beck Center is a very important part of my district, and this grant would enable some critical needs to be addressed in a reasonable time frame. And I would respectfully ask for the support of my colleagues.
Madam Chair.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just want to say that I'm going to add my name to this piece, this resolution, and I live on the east side, but South Euclid and have been known to travel to Beck Center to see productions, and I think the last one, it's been a while, was Carrie, which was really fun. So I'm going to make a motion that this resolution be moved to the next full council meeting with a recommendation of passage for second reading.
I'll second, and I'd like to add my name as well.
Thank you. If there's no further comment, I'd like, is there a second?
Thank you.
Or
Madam
was that
Chair.
you, Mr. Jones?
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Also, Councilmember Gallagher has requested his name be added as a sponsor as well.
Thank you. Ms. Turner would like her name added as well.
Thank you.
Without no further comments, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Congratulations, you're moving to full council.
Resolution 2022-0225, awarding a total sum not to exceed $350,000 to the Bel Air Puritas Development Corporation for the construction of the Lyric Community Center Phase 2 from the District 2 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Good morning. I am Melissa Miller. I'm the Assistant Director at the Bel Air Puritas Development Corporation. Thank you so much for letting me present about our project today. The Lyric Community Center will be housed in a 2,100 square foot building right on West 140th Street in the heart of our education corridor that we got from the state of Ohio through tax forfeiture. Both of our neighborhood planning efforts for physical development as well as our youth development planning efforts identified the need for additional space in our neighborhood to house our youth programs, our after-school programs, as well as our workforce development programs. We are also looking for a space for community meetings. We have a long history at Bel Air Puritas of having both community development programs and youth development programs. Our youth development programs focus on Riverside Park Estates as well as through several Cleveland Municipal School Districts, through several different schools. We also are the lead agency for the county's MyCom program and do all the after-school programming for youth in our neighborhood with partner agencies. We have a long history of having to look for space for this, to hold our programming, to hope that people in the neighborhood would be able to open our doors. Several funders have told us that while we do a tremendous job with programming, it would be beneficial if we had our own space for programming. We don't necessarily like to have programming in one school or another, seeing as we have so many different schools in our neighborhoods. Youth are sometimes reluctant to come to a different school in order to do the programming. At the building, we are proposing to hold both of our after-school programming, all of our summer youth activities, which include right now always having a group of YOU kids who do work in the community throughout the summer. During the day, we intend to open it for our workforce development programs and activities, which include GED education and training, as well as work through a Tri-C online program in order to help people obtain their associate's degree and just general job-seeking skills. We also, in the evenings, hope to open it up for community groups, neighborhood associations to use. We want to have all of our housing finance programs available there. We want to have financial literacy programs there and continue to grow our workforce development program. This space will allow us to take our workforce development program, which has been to this point centralized in the computer lab we run at Riverside Park Estates, and bring it out into the community. We love this location for this, and we are happy that we got this building. It is located right in the education corridor of our neighborhood on West 140th Street. It is diagonal from John Marshall High School and the 3 high schools that reside in John Marshall. Garfield Elementary School is on West 140th Street, directly across the street, and Artemis Ward is right up the street, and just off West 140th Street is Bard Early College. We are happy to be investing on a street in education where the school district has already made an $85 million investment over the years in all of the new schools on that street. If you can look at the slides right now, this is what the building looked like when we obtained it. The county land bank was gracious enough to hold it for 18 months while we got our initial funding together for this project. This is now the exterior of the building. The city of Cleveland gave us $275,000 to do the exterior renovation of the building. We initially kicked it off with $50,000 of our own development fee money to get the project started.
So this is a rehab, not new construction?
This is a rehab, yes. This is the current state of the interior of the building. The second phase, which we are going to be using the ARPA dollars to complete, is the interior build-out of the space. The state of Ohio has just committed in their next capital campaign to $75,000 for the interior build-out. We have the commitment of some private foundations as well as additional development fees that we are putting in for the soft costs of phase 2. This is a rendering by the architect of what Phase 2 is going to look like. The 2,100 square
Go
foot.
back to the rendering.
There's the rendering. The 2,100 square foot space is going to be mostly open space. There'll be space in the back for a small office, which will house a desk for one staff person, as well as just a little bit of additional space should somebody, there's often times where someone needs to speak to a student one-on-one privately, and they can do that in the office. There is also a full kitchen, albeit a small one, that we're going to be putting in this space. This summer, our youth have started their own baking business, and we are hoping to grow their entrepreneurship knowledge through similar type programs at the new space. Last summer, the youth in our YOU program were very excited about the space. They were very excited to decorate the space to make it look like something was coming to the space. They also came up with a whole list of programming wants for what they would like to see in the new space. In the new space, from 3 to 4 will be an open space time at the Lyric Center where kids will be able to just gather, grab a snack, have a little bit of a break in between scheduled time. And then from 4 to 6, we'll go into our scheduled activities. Our scheduled activities for youth primarily focus around teens after school through MyCom, and they work on job readiness activities. They learn how to write resumes. They plan their own job fair, which they invite the entire neighborhood to for the spring. They also do a lot of tutoring activities and arts programs. We don't have any arts programs in our neighborhood specifically, so we bring in Art House to do programming with the youth after school. And then it'll be open in the evenings and available for meetings and such. And this is just an outside depiction of what it currently looks like with the kids' art from last summer in it. That is all I have. We are ready for Phase 2. We are in the point where we have hired our architects to take the conceptuals of Phase 2 and do a full set of construction drawings. We're hoping to submit those construction drawings this fall, so we'll be able to begin construction next spring of the interior of the building, even sooner if possible. And our goal is to have it opened by the fall of 2023 for the new school year.
Do my colleagues have any questions?
Madam Chair,
Mr. Miller.
to my colleagues and to Ms. Miller, thank you very much for the presentation, and our ARPA review committee saw this as a spectacular project that leverages a relatively modest amount of money into a variety of very important neighborhood services, and it leverages the capability that the Bel Air Puritas Development Corporation has to provide the operating expenses to maintain this on an ongoing basis, and it's ideally located in the center of the education corridor, and we heard testimony recently in our discussions about the opiate crisis on how important after-school programming is in opiate prevention, and it just is going to be beneficial on a variety of fronts, and it's a high leverage proposition that provides last dollar money to complete what's been in preparation for some time, and so I would enthusiastically ask for the support of my colleagues for this project.
Is there a motion?
Sure. Motion to move this resolution to the next full council meeting with a recommendation of passage for second reading.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, this moves to the full council.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
at this time, Councilmember Gallagher has requested his name be added as a sponsor.
Thank you.
I'd like mine added as well.
Also, Madam Chair, for the next three items, items 33 through 35, are similar in nature. Would you like me to read them into the record in succession? Resolution.
They're all, wait,
Resolution 2022-0233 are all Bedford, City of Bedford items.
but they're for different activities.
Correct.
Let's just go ahead and read them in individually, and they can stay at the podium now.
Okay. Resolution 2022-0233, awarding a total sum not to exceed $73,200 to the City of Bedford Heights for the purpose of upgrades and staffing at the Bedford Heights Computer Lab for the District 9 ARPA Community Grant Fund. And at this time, Madam Chair, the representative will be participating via Zoom.
Good morning. I'm feeling like I've been here a little bit. Could you please identify yourself for this committee?
Good morning. My name is Roderick May. I'm representing Mayor Fletcher Berger for the City of Bedford Heights.
You have a presentation for us?
Yes, the presentation is that we actually currently have a computer lab, and we would be using these funds to revamp the computer lab. The computers that are in the current lab we pieced them together over the last, pre-COVID, and most of these computers were 10 plus years old. So what we are planning to do is revamp these computers in an effort to bring an opportunity because everybody in the community does not have sufficient broadband to, if COVID rehashes, which we certainly hope that it doesn't, where students were working from home doing their classwork, everybody did not have the bandwidth that they needed or required in order to do their schoolwork. So we wanted to provide a space, although it's only 10 computers, we want to provide the community with an opportunity to come to the community center to be able to utilize our services for their students. It's also a location whereby the seniors in our community who don't have much skill at internet or accessing computers, because we're at a time frame where a good deal of things are online or computer related or technology related, and we wanted to be able to bring them in and do some training. We had the public library in Bedford come in a couple of years ago, pre-COVID, and do some training with the students, the seniors, I should say, to bring them up to speed and allow them to gain some information and some knowledge as to how to utilize the computer and gain access to the internet. We also want to create opportunities for after-school programs, workforce development programs that will enable our community to either allow our students who might be a little bit behind to get an edge. I won't say get an edge, but keep up with the other students in their class so that they don't fall behind. So we just wanted to create or redevelop our atmosphere in our computer lab so that it would meet the future needs of our growing community and technology.
And how much are you spending aggregately on this activity?
Well, the activity in and of itself, the computers came to about $36,000. However, we added another $43,000 to staff it with an employee who would give training and access to the after-school programs. If we wanted to go to the school board and ask them for criteria or curriculum, I should say, that will enable someone to come in and give training to those students who would like to come in and, keep up or be able to keep up with their classmates, because they might be falling behind or the classwork might be too intense for them. So we put in a provision for $36,000, which would enable someone to work 29 hours a week at $15 an hour for over the course of the next 3 years.
And how much is the city putting in?
Well, whatever we're not able to accomplish, if there was a need to add additional monies, the mayor has already indicated that he would be in a position to do so.
Okay. Any other questions?
I could make a motion to move this resolution to the next full council meeting with a recommendation as passage under for second reading.
Second by Mr. Gallagher. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Add my name, Cheryl.
Okay. Mr. Jones's name needs to be added to this piece of legislation.
As well as Councilmember Gallagher.
Okay. Thank you, sir. This one is moving forward to the full council. Are you making a presentation on the next one?
My coworker, Renee Cole, will be making a presentation as it relates to the food bank on Zoom. She's here present with me.
Resolution 2022-0234, awarding a total sum not to exceed $35,000 to the City of Bedford Heights for the purpose of expanding the Bedford Heights Food Relief Program for the District 9 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Please identify yourself for the record.
Good morning. My name is Renee Cole, and I'm representing Mayor Fletcher Berger here in Bedford Heights, Ohio.
Okay, if there's a presentation, please make it.
Thank you very much. Well, the Operation Food Relief is what I am presenting today. Bedford Heights, for the last 10 years, has operated a mobile food pantry for its residents and community. And since the pandemic, we have a new model that has emerged. We have a drive-through produce pickup, which is very smaller in nature to what we were doing pre-COVID. With that in mind, we realized that some of the community is isolated. There are some folks in our community that are homebound or cannot come out for various reasons. And we understand how important it is to get healthy food to those that are in need, especially with COVID out there, especially with the increase of the food prices and everything. So one of the things that we would like to do with the ARPA funds is provide a pop-up produce distribution. This would be along with our current drive-through pickup produce distribution that we currently have. The pop-ups would be at one of the 13 apartments, senior apartments, or our mobile home parks. And we would take or deliver produce there to the folks. And that's what we're proposing to do with the ARPA funds. Thank you.
Thank you. Do any of my colleagues have questions?
I'll make a motion to move the resolution to the next full council meeting with a recommendation of passage for second reading.
Second by Mr. Gallagher. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. If there are no further comments, then this passage on to the full council. Congratulations.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
Councilmember Gallagher has requested his name be added as a sponsor to this item as well.
of course.
Add mine as well.
Thank you. Resolution 2022-0235, awarding a total sum not to exceed $450,000 to the City of Bedford Heights for the Homeowner Energy Efficient Weatherization Relief Program for the District 9 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
So who's making a presentation for us today on this?
Good morning. to everyone. I would like to thank you for the opportunity to speak before you in getting the funds for our housing program that will help.
And the first thing you need to do is
And my
identify
name,
yourself.
yes, my name is Darylyn Hopes, and I am the housing coordinator at the City of Bedford Heights.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. So I recently started about four months ago, and I realized that there has been some challenges with the home repair and just the things that have kind of affected our residents. Pre-COVID, a lot of residents have called in saying they were able to afford things, but losing their jobs and decreasing their income has caused it to be quite a challenge when it comes to maintaining the appearance of their households. Recently started a project with our escrow funds, which means that there are a lot of violations that need to be repaired for the homes. And a lot of the responses I've been getting is, I had the money prior to COVID, but I don't now. So with that being said, the energy efficient weatherization relief program will allow us to assist our residents in making these repairs to their homes. A lot of them are seniors, and some of them were working, and then now they're not working, or they have got a vast decrease in their income. City of Bedford Heights does make it their duty to keep the community beautiful, and we would really like to assist the residents in keeping it that way. I know they have had some struggles, and I know that the money would help them to make these home repairs. I've done some research on how this energy efficient project could help them. So a lot of their violations are roofing repairs. Some of them need new windows, and the roofing is only done every 15 to 20 years. So some of the material has improved since then. So I know that this would help them to keep those energy costs down. And we all know that can kind of be very, very increased when the weather gets colder, and then everything else that's going up, it would help them save on their bills as well. So I know that the window installation also will help to seal in the energy costs and keep those down. So we just feel that it would help the residents if they were able to do these things. I get a lot of calls from our seniors who are already on fixed income. So they could benefit a lot from the ARPA funds that would help them to improve their housing appearance and to save them on the cost of their monthly bills.
Approximately how many families do you think you can assist?
We projected at least 50 to 100. The project wouldn't be to totally fund, but at least to assist them in their efforts to improve their home. As I mentioned earlier, the escrow project that I started on has a lot of homes that have violations, in which we've done a good job. I believe the residents have done a good job to keep the appearance of the neighborhood and the community up, but there's quite a bit of violations that still are pending that will help them with making the improvements if we are able to assist them. So we projected at least 50 to 100 households.
And what's the maximum amount you can spend on a household?
Well, the roofing is probably the most expensive. So again, just it being an assistance, depending on what others have applied for, then the roofing probably will start at least $9,000, $10,000.
Are there any other questions?
Yeah, Madam Chair, just one quick question. So is this an existing program? You're calling it an escrow program that already exists and we're funding it? Or is this like a little bit of a permeation of what you
Actually,
already
the
have.
Yes Grow project that I started, it is just, it was an awareness to say that we do have an issue with home improvement in our city. So the Yes Grow Fund project is basically at the sale. We have point of sale inspections in our community. And at that time, there's a list of violations that the homeowner, new homeowner, or the current homeowner would need to repair. So through this project, I was able to see the need that our city has for it, because a lot of people have not made those corrections yet. And it's due to, because a lot of them have been within the last 3 or 4 years. And a lot of times when I'm making the phone calls to see what the status is of the improvements, well, I had the money then, but I don't have it now, is the response that I'm getting. So it's a project that identified the need for the assistance.
Thank you. Madam Chair, I could make a motion to move this resolution to the next full council meeting with a recommendation of passage for second reading.
And there's a second from Mr. Gallagher. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations.
Thank
This
you.
moves forward to the full council.
Thank you.
Yes. Oh. Excuse me. Would you come back to the podium for a moment, please? Councilwoman Turner would like to make a comment.
Hi.
Councilmember, can you turn your microphone on? Thank you.
Is it Renee?
Yeah. Okay.
My
can you
name
hear
is
me?
Darylyn.
Darylyn. Okay.
Carolyn. Hi, Darylyn.
Hi.
I am Councilwoman Turner. I just wanted to ask you to please bring greetings to the mayor on my behalf. I thought I might see him this morning.
Okay.
I was thinking of him.
I will.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Madam Chair, at this time, Councilmember Gallagher has requested his name be added as a sponsor to this item as well.
Thank you.
Clerk, if you add my name as well.
Thank you. Resolution 2022-0236, awarding a total sum not to exceed $600,000 to the City of Warrensville Heights for the purpose of upgrading the Warrensville Heights Senior and Civic Center from the District 9 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Good morning.
My name is Jennifer Lastry, and I am the director of the Warrensville Heights Civic and Senior Center, and I bring you greetings from Warrensville Heights, along with Karen House, our finance director, and Daniel Gerson, our engineer. We thank you so much for this opportunity to present our need and our concern for the Warrensville Heights Civic and Senior Center. We serve a great number of seniors in our community, and we love what we do so that we can continue to serve them at the Civic and Senior Center. But we are dealing with some problems with our roof. What we do right now at the Civic and Senior Center is we have different classes. We have ceramics class, we have line dance, we have ballroom dancing. We have different events for our seniors and the entire community to come and join and have a nice time at the center. But unfortunately, our roof is leaking a lot. And we've put up buckets, we have all kind of things trying to keep the water back. The center was built around 1990, I believe around that time, and the roof, this is an original roof. We haven't done a whole lot. Once I got there in 2015, we've had a lot of repairs. We did a study back in 2012, and we came up with some numbers that we needed to get the roof replaced, but it didn't happen because of the funding that was not available to us at the time. So we're before you asking for additional funding. And at this time, I'm going to yield the floor to our engineer so that he can share with you additional information as it relates to the Civic and Senior Center.
Dan Gerson, City Engineer, Warrensville Heights. So the report that's in the application was from 2012 from GPD Group. I work with GPD Group. I didn't work there back then, but since then I've been asked to take a look at the roof. I was up there probably about 2 months ago. The flat roof section has been repaired multiple times. I had 2 contractors up there. Both of them have said that it's beyond repair. It needs to be torn off and completely replaced. In the report in 2012, I believe they talked about that the shingled portion of the roof, which is about 15,500 square feet, was in decent shape back then, but that's been 10 years now. And both those contractors have said that that's at replacement now. It needs to be replaced. And then there's two other items. The one thing that wasn't addressed in that report, there's a skylight on the flat portion of the roof. We've noticed leaks in there, and that's been repaired multiple times with caulking, so that's most likely going to have to be replaced as part of this project. And then finally, up on the roof on the flat section are most of the HVAC. I believe there's 9 units of air conditioning and 9 furnaces. And so we've replaced some of those over the years, but some of those are also original to the building. There's approximately half of those are sitting there rusting in place and are needing replacement. So we're looking at replacing the HVAC, both the furnaces and the air conditioning, the flat roof, the peaked roof, which is the shingled part, and then looking at the skylight and trying to include that if we may. If you have any questions, I'd be trying to answer them. Thank you.
I do. Don't walk away.
Nope.
So when was the bid for 875 or the estimate for 875?
We don't have a current bid. We've had 3 contractors out there. We had one that estimated the peaked roof at $800,000, which we thought was over. They were looking at doing a metal roof on that. And then we've had 2 that looked at shingle roofs, but all 3 of them looked at the flat roof. And those are about 2 months old, but we've got to consolidate them and see which ones go together. We do have one estimate on the HVAC, but that was just for taking the HVAC units off so you could do the flat roof and putting them back on. So we're putting together those estimates, but that 2012 report was done by GPD Group, and those recommendations stand. And again, that was 10 years ago.
So I do construction all the time, and I'm concerned that you don't have adequate funding here to complete this.
It'll be tight costs, I know that for sure, but we will do what we can on it. I think the biggest thing would be the flat roof, getting that repaired in the peaked roof. If there are any HVAC units that we can save, we would look to do that. I know there's been some that have been replaced, but if they're serviceable, we wouldn't replace those. But
I guess my next question is for the finance director.
Sure, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Karen House, Finance Director for the City of Warrensville Heights.
Welcome.
Madam Chair.
So, given what I know, on one of our projects, you heard something increased 15% in a matter of days. If this was to increase even 10%, you're talking about an additional $87,000. Is the City of Warrensville Heights prepared to do that? Because, you know, what they do is they tear your roof up, they get your HVAC unit on the ground, and they tell you, they ask you, how are you going to help me get this back together again?
You're absolutely right. Madam Chair, this has been a long standing problem with the Senior Civic Community Center. We have put in a lot of repairs and maintenance. I did an analysis just over the last 4 years, and we approximately spent in repairs and maintenance about $40,000. Patching, doing half of the roof, and it's also the Civic Center, which wasn't mentioned, is the hub for all of our technology. So all of our other buildings, such as the fire, the Public Works building, they all communicate, and that hub is there.
The servers are there.
Absolutely. So to answer your question, we did put aside estimating between $275,000 to $300,000 from our capital fund. So we do have that money committed for that purpose.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other questions?
No, but I can make a motion to move this resolution to the next full council meeting with a recommendation of passage for second reading.
A second by Mr. Gallagher. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, please. No, go right ahead. Please add my name.
And also at this time, Councilmember Gallagher's name has been requested to be added.
Thank you.
So we have Councilmember Jones and Councilmember Turner as well. Did I hear?
And I believe Simon.
Thank you.
Good morning. I just wanted to personally say I have been to so many events at your facility that benefits the region as a whole, not just the friendly city of Warrensville. So I just wanted to encourage my colleagues to consider this project strongly, and please give my greetings to the mayor. Thank you.
See you, Council.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations. You are moving forward to full council.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Council.
it.
Resolution 2022-0244, authorizing affordable housing loans to various organizations in the total amount not to exceed $4,550,000 for the Affordable Housing Gap Financing Program for the following organizations 1 through 8. 1, 2804 Moorland LLC in the amount not to exceed $450,000 for rehabilitation of a vacant residential building located at 2804 South Moorland Boulevard in the city of Cleveland to create 23 units for affordable housing. 2, CHN Housing Partners in the amount not to exceed $450,000 for the construction of 40 affordable housing units for low to moderate income persons with an emphasis on single parents seeking higher education. 3, Cuyahoga Land Bank in the amount not to exceed $1,500,000 to provide matching grant funds for housing rehabilitation and matching grants for the construction of 2 new homes in the city of East Cleveland. 4, Emerald Development and...
Clerk, before you go on,
Okay.
there's a typo in that one, because that concerned me, so I text staff while we were up here, because it's... Could you correct us?
Sarah Parks
Deputy
Jackson with the
Director?
Department of Development. This should read 5 new homes
For item number...
for item number 3 under Cuyahoga Land Bank. So it is grants for housing rehabilitation, which would actually be 25 approximately. And matching grants for the construction of 5 new homes in the city of East Cleveland.
I was concerned that the houses were going to cost us somewhere in the neighborhood of $750,000 each. And since that's my district, I know that there have not been any $750,000 home sales in the city of East Cleveland recently, so we're going to have difficulty finding a market.
So again, the amendment is for, the correction is for 5 new homes instead of 2.
And rehab.
And rehab. Thank you. Item number 4, again, Emerald Development and Economic Network, Inc., in the amount not to exceed $450,000 for the redevelopment and rehabilitation of 1 existing building and the creation of a new affordable housing unit for Eden Expansion Phase 2 project. 5, Emerald Development and Economic Network, Inc., in the amount not to exceed $450,000 for the redevelopment and rehabilitation of 2 existing buildings and the creation of 6 new affordable rental housing units located on Madison Avenue and Lorraine Avenue in the city of Cleveland. 6, Frontline Development Group, LLC, in the amount not to exceed $600,000 for the construction of 240 workforce-based affordable housing units for the Allen Estates project. 7, Lutheran Metropolitan Ministry in the amount not to exceed $200,000 for a construction of 4 new affordable energy efficient permanent housing units for people experiencing homelessness in the city of Cleveland. And 8, Northwest Neighborhoods CDC in the amount not to exceed $450,000 for the creation of 51 affordable rental housing units for seniors for the Karam Senior Living Project.
Good morning, Sarah Parks Jackson with the Department of Development. I am very excited to bring these affordable housing projects to you this morning. We did an RFP to provide gap financing for affordable housing with a focus on providing units that would serve people who were coming out of homelessness and have been affected by domestic violence, all the way to seniors. So there was no limitation on the affordability of these projects. We had a focus group that looked at the projects before going to review to determine and that was me and my staff, to determine which of these projects could be funded with the Federal Home Investment Partnership Act funds and which could be funded with the $3 million general fund due to ARPA funding. So with $5 million, we were able to review and have recommended by 2 different review bodies, the Home Investment Partnership consortium group reviewed those projects which we deemed were eligible for home funds, and the ARPA funds were reviewed by a separate body and all scored, and these are the projects we have before you. My excitement in this is for the first time since I've been at Cuyahoga County. I have two women who are developers that submitted applications to us for funding. They are here with us today. That is going to be Rakefet Landis at 2804 Moorland, LLC, and Ms. Sheila Wright with Frontline Development Group.
Awesome. Would you like to go through these individually with us?
Yes, may I?
Better up first is 2804 Moorland.
2804 Moorland is right at Shaker Square. Ms. Rakefet Landis started this project on her own, with her own funding to rehab this building, and had been in search for additional funding so that she could complete the project. The funding that we're going to provide through the general fund due to ARPA dollars will allow her to complete this project and provide units, affordable housing units. May I bring her up?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
If you would identify yourself, and then please keep your comments short, but tell us why you made this commitment to the neighborhood.
My name is Rakefet Landis. I am the developer at 2804 Moorland LLC, which is located in Shaker Square. This property was vacant and was an eyesore for the community. It housed, while being vacant, drug dealers and illegals, and me taking it from the Cuyahoga Land Bank provided $120,000 towards the Shaker school system. I paid back taxes that the previous owner didn't. These 23 affordable units will provide affordable housing in a neighborhood that is lacking affordable units. Most units in the area are market rate and very expensive. I will rent to Section 8, Eden, disability, people on SSI. That is my track record. People who deserve a second chance at housing. This building will be safe, efficient, green, and well lit, secured for the neighborhood.
What's your total project cost?
$2.9 million.
And you have
I was-
funding from,
This is a historic rehab. I have historic tax credits.
from the state or the state
From the
and
federal
feds?
government, National Park Service.
Okay.
I have Ohio tax credit I have been awarded. I received money from the city of Cleveland. I've put in my own money, and hopefully with the Cuyahoga County
And this is
ARPA money.
This is the last little bit you needed?
Yes, that's the last bit. Due to supply chain and shortages and costs in material, which have gone through the roof. And I really, really am trying every effort to make these units affordable, all 23 of them, available for the community.
Do my colleagues have any questions?
Yes. Madam Chair.
Mr. Jones?
Okay. Well, again, thank you for being here, and I'm excited for this project as well. I'd like to put a little emphasis on the fact that our developers are here and just how important the work that you do. You know, kids grow up to be everything from basketball players to doctors to, you never think about the idea of being a developer. There's someone who builds up your neighborhood, and it's so needed on the east side of Cleveland in particular.
Mm-hmm.
So one, I just commend you for the work. But tell us a little more. You touched on the finances. This is important for people to understand. Not only are you getting dollars from the government, but you put your own dollars in as well. Tell us what is your equity in this $2.9 million project?
It's nearly $300,000.
And is there a bank loan as well?
Yes, there is.
What is that amount?
So depending on my awards and money being
awarded to the project. We are looking, it hasn't been confirmed, but we are looking for a mortgage permanent loan between 600 to 900,000.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? I have your motion.
The motion that we move this to the full council, and please add my name.
Thank you. Is there a second? Mr. Gallagher is second. If there are no further comments or questions,
Actually,
Wait, so
Add my name, Madam Chair.
could you add Ms. Turner's name? And there's a question or comment from
I think we
Ms.
have the other
Simon.
developers to come present, because this is one resolution with the subsections.
Oh, you're right.
Okay.
So I have to wait till the end.
Yes.
Correct.
I forgot about that. Thank you. Okay.
Moving
Ms.
along.
Jackson, if you will move to the next one.
Yes, CHN Housing Partners, Jennifer, come forward and say a few words about the Scholar House, an exciting program that will provide 40 affordable housing units with an emphasis on single parents seeking higher education.
I've heard about the Scholar House concept.
Hi.
Good morning.
Can you guys hear me okay? Jen Koperdak, I'm a project manager at CHN Housing Partners. So the Louise C. Stokes Scholar House will create opportunities for parents enrolled in institutions of higher learning and their children by pairing affordable housing with on-site supportive services and high-quality daycare. The project follows a true two-generational model to interrupt the cycle of poverty for both parents and children and change the trajectory of their lives. So this will be 40 units. It's a 3-story building, 2 and 3 bedrooms, and the land is being leased by CMHA, and they are also providing 40 project-based vouchers. And the ground floor will have a daycare, and that'll be operated and owned by Step Forward, and they are a Head Start program. They also have a facility next door, the William Patrick Day Center, so we'll be working in conjunction with that
Is
daycare.
that Cliffview?
It's on Community College Avenue, right across from Tri-C.
Okay.
Yeah. So, CHN is the owner and the service provider and the property manager. And we've been working with United Way of Greater Cleveland. They've done a lot of fundraising for us to provide additional services. And we've also worked with, as I mentioned, CMHA, Step Forward, Tri-C, and CSU.
What's CSU doing for you?
They're going to provide academic counseling as well as Tri-C. We suspect that many of the residents will come from CSU and Tri-C.
And will they also be allowed to do skill development?
Absolutely. Financial counseling and literacy. Yep.
And is it purely college, or can they have some other skill development curriculum that they can use to participate in the housing?
They have to be enrolled in higher learning and higher education.
Okay. I'm just trying to fish out how that's defined.
So they have to be degree seeking. So they'll have to, what we're doing right now is Tri-C and CSU are very involved in seeking out potential residents and students. So they'll have to qualify, obviously through income, and then prove that they're a degree seeking student. And we're hoping that most of these, if not all residents, will come through Tri-C and CSU.
So the 40 units are in one structure?
Yes, it's one building.
And what's the total project cost?
The total project cost right now is $16.5 million.
And I know that you have a low-income housing tax credits, because
We do.
I congratulated Kevin when you received them.
Oh, yes, we do.
And you have what else?
We have HDAP on this project. We have City Housing Trust Fund dollars. We have permanent debt, over $2 million permanent debt, and we have a sponsor loan from CHN into the project.
And do you have any Federal Home Loan Bank money, or?
No,
Okay.
we do not.
All right. Just curious to see what the capital stack was, and to make sure that you have options?
Yes, we
Given
do.
that all of our construction projects are seeing outrageous increases. Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Ms. Jackson? Okay. We will move through the agenda. Thank you, Jen. And who's next?
Next on the list is the Cuyahoga Land Bank, which we would like to award $1.5 million and have them provide grants to through their land bank charities to the nonprofits that are involved in their land bank charities that provide assistance to our most vulnerable population, people who have been affected by domestic violence, human trafficking. I've met with a number of the members of the Land Bank Charities group, and in determining the best way to help these smaller nonprofits establish what they need to do to provide housing for these vulnerable populations, we made the determination that using the land bank as a vehicle to provide these dollars would serve us best in getting to the smaller nonprofits. So I'm going to ask Gus Francos and Ricardo Leon to come forward and talk a little bit more about the project.
Gentlemen, if you'll step up to the podium, please. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chairman, members of the committee.
Okay, tell us about who will be your tenants, and I believe it's 25 to 30 units as opposed to 2 is the only number I see in there.
5 houses.
5 houses.
And the 25 grants to the nonprofit.
Okay.
Thank you. I was glad that you corrected that. I didn't want the committee to think we lost our way. 2 homes,
I was
750,000.
I was texting Sarah going, this doesn't seem right. And she was right. It's not it. Okay, gentlemen, talk to us.
I'll give you the general overview, and then Mr. Leon will fill in. And you particularly know this, Madam Chairman, having been with the Land Bank for a while. When the county's housing plan was put together and ultimately ended up with the county housing program, one of the components was special populations, and this was something that was something that we felt we could really lock into. I mean, we were still doing the the affordable housing and the neighborhood stabilization piece, but this was something that we felt we could address across the board. And I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but if you're coming out of incarceration, or if you're coming out of substance abuse, or if you're, all of the groups that require wraparound services, aging out of foster care, they all involve individual wraparound services, but the one that's common to all of them, of course, is you have to have a house, and if you have a house, you can get a driver's license because you have an address. If you have a driver's license, you can get a job. If you have a job, you can have your kids going to a school district without bouncing all over the place. So we've been doing this for some 10, 11 years, and we have more and more that need these services, that need these grants. And so this was particularly useful to us, because whereas we were providing some grants, we would get the house, donate the house, we would provide some grant money. As you've heard from other witnesses, the costs have gone up so much that this would help us by adding to some of the grants. They would continue to match as they always have. So it enlists the community. They all have to come in and get involved, whether it's a church or whether it's Home Depot, whether it's the credit union. Everybody's still participating in these, but this will put the wind at their back and allows us, we feel we're unique in that way, because we're dealing with all of these smaller agencies, these different particular issues that are throughout the county. And we're uniquely positioned to try to provide housing for these groups, single moms, and Laura's home.
Just give us an example of how much you do with, since we're talking about as many as 25 different groups. So, for example, Bessie's Place is someone, I know the woman who came up with the concept originally, as do you. What are you looking at, an individual house maybe with them and some rehab of that house, and then potential operating funds? Or just tell me what this looks like in real terms?
I'm using that particular example, Madam Chairman, Bessie's Angels, their particular ministry or focus is young women aging out of foster care. So I think we've done maybe 2 or 3 homes with them. They are now in the process of completing another one. And so this, we would not provide programming dollars. They still would go either to the county or wherever their philanthropic network to get funds for that. But we would provide the home, we provide these smaller groups some backup services. It's not that they can't do it, but you know, a smaller group, it's not like the city mission, for example, large balance sheet, accountants, everybody's, you know, they have all of the infrastructure, but somebody like Bessie's Angels or Jordan or Ride with Valor, these groups are good, they're doing good work, but we paper the transaction, we do the Ds, we do all the things that would cause some of these smaller groups to stumble, perhaps. So we kind of allow them to do their mission while we get them the home, and then they could do what they're doing. But that was that one example. There's, you know, there's many of them, as you know. There are probably up to 15 now that we do the work on and off fairly frequently.
The new housing construction, will that all be in East Cleveland?
Yes, ma'am. You want to step in?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Carter Leon, Chief Operating Officer with the Cahoon Land Bank. I can speak to the specifics of the proposal.
Okay, so for the new construction, what do you think you're looking at, given that new construction changes, I think, every week in this state?
Yeah, absolutely, Madam Chairman. So what we're currently proposing is that each house in East Cleveland is going to cost about $300,000 a piece to build. There is a long-term 5-year goal to get to 200 units, but the Cuyahoga Land Bank is going to take on the first 5 as to try and test the market. And so we understand that there's going to be significant subsidy necessary. Our intention.
Will you be the developer of this as opposed to a third party?
Yes, the Cuyahoga Land Bank will develop the first 5 initially, yes. And so we would like to use these resources as subsidy towards those homes, and we are pursuing other opportunities as well, philanthropic opportunities, working with the city of Cleveland, identifying corporate resources that we can put into this as well to make these houses palatable for a new market.
So will a portion of the funds that we provide act like a line of credit to build, sell, or how will you use our funds? Since you're talking about up to 5 units.
Right. The funds that we would receive through this proposal would be used as to cover hard costs of development. So it'd be a developer subsidy. And then that subsidy would be passed on to the buyer by virtue of lowering the price.
Lowering the price or doing a silent second mortgage?
We have not historically done silent second mortgages on our deals. It could be structured that way if there was preference to do it that way, but typically we would just reduce the price of the home.
I'm just asking questions. Do any of my colleagues have questions? Mr. Jones.
And the house is ultimately sold to a person, what would be the general sale price of the house?
So historically, through the homes that we've done with the county housing program, they're typically in the mid 200s, but we understand that that's going to be pretty high for the city of East Cleveland. The number has not been identified yet, but somewhere, in the high 100s, low 200s. The reason we were kind of thinking of that is within about a 3/4 of a mile from there in the University Circle area, entry level homes are in the 400 to 500 range. And so we understand that for order for folks to be interested in moving into this new development on the East Cleveland side, that those prices are going to have to be attractive for them.
The first ones are going to be loss leaders.
And the location tell me again, where is the actual location in East Cleveland?
So the target area is really the first about 10 blocks on Euclid Avenue as soon as you cross under the railroad bridge there. Yep, so we have the Cuyahoga Land Bank in partnership with the city of East Cleveland. We have about 33 acres of developable land.
On the south side of Euclid Avenue?
Yes, south of Euclid, yes.
Right past Lakeview Cemetery and...
On the same side as the cemetery is. Any other questions? Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Jackson.
Madam Chairman, we are going to do the next 2, which are Emerald Development and Economic Network, Eden We have two because Eden has a project that they have started that they needed additional funding for that we cannot do with federal home dollars because the project had already begun. And the second project being one that hasn't started that we can fund with home funding. So Eden does a lot of work with our homeless population. I'm going to ask Richard Carter to come forward and talk about the two projects that we have on the agenda for approval.
Yes, he's here.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, my name is Richard Carr. I'm the Director of Real Estate Development and Construction for Emerald Development. We have two projects that we're presenting today. One of them is a single building located in the city of Lakewood. It's a 4-unit building that will go through substantial rehabilitation. In addition to that, we'll be adding an additional 2-bedroom apartment to the roof. Eden is a housing provider through the local admins board. We provide housing to mental health and other people with disabilities. It's a much needed project. The project is leveraged against 2 other properties that exist in the city of Cleveland. It's about $2.6 million. We're using home funds from the city of Cleveland, home funds from the city of Lakewood, and we're using housing development gap financing from OFA to leverage out the project, as well as developer deferred fee. Eden expansion phase 3 is for 2 buildings, one located on Madison Avenue, one located on Lorraine. Once again, the affordable housing need in Cuyahoga County, as well as the city of Cleveland, is extremely demanding. We cannot put up housing fast enough to meet the demands of the community. This project here is for 2 buildings. Both are occupied on the upper floors and have vacant retail space on the lower level. The upper floors will be substantially rehabilitated to meet all green standards and other energy efficient needs and provide the residents with much better living conditions. The project on Madison Avenue in particular has very small units where the square footage of them are very difficult. We're going to be converting those from efficiency units into 1-bedroom apartments. And the lower levels of both buildings are vacant retail. We'll be converting that into affordable housing. We're looking at a couple of ADA units because the buildings do sit right on streetscape. The Eden Preservation Phase 3 is a $4.9 million project. That also has home funds in it from the city of Cleveland. There's ARPA dollars involved from the Cuyahoga County. And there's also, we'll be applying for $2 million of HDGF financing from OFA in the next week or so, which we're extremely excited about. So that also has deferred developer fee in it as well. And once again, we are very grateful for the county's participation with these programs. As stated, the demand for affordable housing in the community is so strong, we just can't put them up fast enough.
A couple of questions.
Yes, ma'am.
The first property is 2.6 million?
Yeah, it's leveraged against 2 other east side properties. There's some property on 703 East 162nd Street and a property in Bel Air Puritas. However, the Cuyahoga County funding is not applicable to that. It's just applicable to the City of Lakewood project.
And then the second project is 4.9 million?
Yes, ma'am.
In the 2 buildings?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you're using not only county and city home and ARPA funds, but you're looking at OFA funds?
Correct.
From the permanent financing?
It's their housing development gap financing program.
Okay,
Yep, those are grants. Yep.
Okay. All right. Anything else you'd like to add, Ms. Jackson? Other questions from my colleagues? Okay. We're going to let you go and let us torture the next person.
Our next project is our next woman-owned, woman developer, female developer for Frontline Development Group, in the amount not to exceed $600,000 for the construction of 240 workforce-based affordable housing units for the Allen Estates project. And Ms. Sheila Wright, if you would come forward.
Good morning and welcome, Mrs.
Morning.
Wright.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Good morning, Council. Good morning, Madam Chair.
Please identify yourself for the record.
My name is Sheila Wright. I'm the president of Frontline Development Group, a real estate development company.
So if you could quickly give us an overview. We see that there are 240 units. Is the 600,000 for the construction of the units or for construction of infrastructure?
The 600,000 is for construction of a mid-rise apartment building that will be part of the 240 units. The overall development is 240 units. This will be a 64-unit mid-rise apartment that will sit across from League Park. It's a twin building. We will be building 2 of these apartments. This funding speaks directly to the first apartment building. We have secured ARPA dollars, $3 million in ARPA dollars from the City of Cleveland. We have site control. We have a development agreement for 4 years to develop the entire site. And then we are applying for home funds as well with the City of Cleveland for $1 million. We're also applying to HUD for a 221D4 loan at $9.2 million. The total project cost is $14.6 million, and we've adjusted those costs based on current interest rates, Madam Chair. We also will be injecting a little over $400,000 of developers' fee back into the project as equity.
You were listening when you sat out there.
Yes.
Okay. How many of the 64 units will be affordable?
20%, Madam Chair, so about around 13 units at this point. And we are looking at those numbers, Madam Chair, in terms of the opportunity to either increase the amount of units. The market rate units that we have are only at 80% AMI, and so it's a lean, tight pro forma, so we are working those numbers.
Do any of my colleagues have questions? Then, Madam Developer.
Thank you.
Congratulations. In a few minutes, we're going to vote on this.
Thank you so much. Thank you,
you.
Council. Thank you.
Next, I'm going to ask to come forward is Michael Searing from Lutheran Metropolitan Ministry, who we will be providing $200,000 for the construction of 4 new affordable, energy-efficient permanent housing.
Hi.
Hello, Michael Searing from Lutheran Metropolitan Ministry. I'm Vice President of Housing and Shelter. Glad to be with you today, and shall I proceed just with a quick overview? All right, so we are working on this initiative to have 4 efficiency units. They'll be built into one nice new structure. It's part of our small but growing affordable housing footprint. We are working with the city and county land banks to identify the parcel or perhaps 2 parcels to adjoin to be the right size for this initiative. It's going to be on the near east side of Cleveland, likely in the St. Clair Superior neighborhood where our other housing initiatives are. I think 2 really unique features of it. One, it'll be built with panelized modular construction to make the build much quicker, and it's also going to be extremely energy efficient with integrated solar roof and extreme insulation to help keep the operating costs down and the rents affordable. The entire project is $466,000, and we've had really good initial meetings for foundation support and some donor support for the balance.
Where are these units again?
Most likely in the St. Clair Superior area. Currently, our Family Affordable Housing Initiative is there in between St. Clair Superior and east of 55th. These units don't have to specifically be there, but that's where we're most familiar.
You already have lots there?
For this initiative, no. The county land bank was great in providing us a list of lots of both their inventory and the city land bank.
So you continue to have a partnership with the county land bank?
Oh,
or the
yes.
city land bank too?
Yes.
Okay. You know, I kind of like those guys at the county land bank.
They're pretty good.
Yeah, if I say so myself. Okay. Do any of my colleagues have questions? All right. Will these be like tiny houses?
It'll be one nice structure that'll pretty much look like, it'll be like a 1,600 square foot looking house, but it'll be 4 units within that, each with their own entry and exit.
So from a planner's perspective, what we will see from the curb will look like a single family home.
Yes.
but what it really is an opportunity to create individual units so that people have a sense of their own space.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, I have no further questions. Does anyone else have any? Thank you, Mr. Searing.
Thank you.
Back to you.
But not least, Northwest Neighborhood CDC in the amount not to exceed $450,000 for the creation of an affordable rental housing project for seniors. I'm going to ask Anya Kozar to come forward.
But I have Anya's name in my head for
Yes.
Detroit Shoreway.
Yes. So my name is Anya Kolsar, representing Northwest Neighborhood CDC, which is the new name of Detroit Shoreway and Cadell Improvement, where we merged last year. So new name came out, new branding coming, but here to talk about the Karam Senior Living Project. It is 51 units of affordable senior housing located on West 80th in Detroit, in the Detroit Shoreway neighborhood. This building is co-located with a branch of Cleveland Public Library. So the new Walls Branch Library will be located on the first floor on the ground level of the building. So we were very excited to be working together to have a cohesive kind of campus to provide services for the community and for seniors. It is a mixture of studios, 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, wellness center, community room. Total project costs right now are around $15 million. Let's hope and pray that things don't get too crazy. We have low-income housing tax credits. We have housing trust fund from the city of Cleveland. We have Federal Home Loan Bank, AHP. We have a foundation grant from the Weinberg Foundation, as well as permanent debt from OFA. We did receive some brownfield funds because we did demolition of an existing building. And what else is in there? And deferred developer fee. So that is our
Who's
funding
your
source.
general contractor?
Roos Brothers Construction will be doing the housing portion. Gilbane will be constructing the library portion of the building, which is separately financed.
I don't have any further questions. You too were listening in the back. Ladies?
No questions. Do you want me to make a motion?
I'd love for you to make a motion.
Okay, so I make a motion. I move that this resolution be moved to the next full council meeting for recommendation and passage for second reading, right? Or we?
That is
Yes,
correct for second
okay.
reading.
Thank you. And I'll ask to have my name added to these dynamic, necessary projects.
Madam Chair,
There was a second, yes, a comment, Mr. Miller?
may I also have my name added? Thank you.
Ms. Turner?
Please add my name.
So, I'm completely delighted to see this level of housing and community and economic development move forward in the communities that we serve. For those of you who aren't aware, OFA says that Cuyahoga County is short over 55,000 units of affordable housing. These kinds of numbers will only be reduced by the kind of work that all of the folks that were at the table today are doing, some with us and some without us. And so I commend staff. I see the director came in for the due diligence that you've done to get these projects to the table so that hopefully next year we'll sit close to 1,000 units of affordable housing being produced in Cuyahoga County. That's incredibly important because when children don't get a good night's rest, they don't perform well at school. Things like crime and juvenile delinquent activities are much more attractive to them, but a good night's rest gives them the thoughtfulness and the capacity to undertake the hard work that is sometimes school and stay in that classroom and learn and become more productive citizens. So while housing is not thought of as an educational opportunity, it really is part of Maslow's hierarchy that without it, people cannot move forward to do better for themselves, their family, and friends. So Sarah and Paul, on behalf of all of us, thank you for this work.
Thank
you. It goes to council. Yay.
Madam Chair.
One more item before us?
Yes, and then also, Madam Chair, for the record, Council President Jones and Councilmember Gallagher have requested their names to be added to this item as well.
Excellent.
Resolution 2022-0245, authorizing a contract with KeyBank National Association in the amount not to exceed $1 million to provide a loan loss reserve on unsecured home repair, home improvement loans to qualifying homeowners commencing upon contract signature of all parties for a period of 10 years.
Chair Parks Jackson, Department of Development. Our 2022-0245, which is a request for a loan loss reserve with Key Bank, is also in concert with our 2022-0247, which is an award to Home Repair Resource Center. Home Repair Resource Center in the past has run a challenge grant program, which is a home repair program for the residents at that time of the city of Cleveland Heights. We looked at that program and the successes that it had, their work with Key Bank and their work with the residents, and wanted to have the opportunity to duplicate that effort on a larger scale. In addition to that, we issued an RFP for home repair. So there's another component to this with the home repair programs that we have throughout the county and trying to enhance what we have to make sure we can serve as many residents as possible. The Key Bank loan loss reserve at $1 million would guarantee the county $5 million in loans. These loans are unsecured. These loans will serve folks whose credit scores are a little lower than would allow them to get a conventional loan. And there's no income requirements. And as you all know, when we're using federal funds, there's always an income requirement. These funds have no income requirements. So I'm going to ask Ms. Chanel Smith from Key Bank to come forward and give you some additional details.
Okay.
Good morning, County Council. Thanks, Ms. Jackson. Good morning, or I think it's still morning, Madam Chair. Let me remove my mask for a second. My name is Chanel Smith-Wiggum. I serve as a Senior Vice President and Director of Community Relations and Corporate Initiatives at Key Bank. I am an advocate and now banker, where I lead community engagement across Key Bank's footprint from Alaska to Maine. But as you all know here, I live in the Glenville neighborhood of Cleveland, and I'm passionate about my community. So I'm very excited about this program. As Sarah already mentioned, the challenge loan was actually established in the 1970s. And here we are in 2022 talking about this program that's in partnership between Key Bank and Home Repair Resource Center. And it's a small dollar home repair program that right now is only exclusively for the residents of Cleveland Heights. And as I mentioned, Key Bank has been a long time partner of this program. And as part of our commitments to serve in our community and part of our commitments to Cuyahoga County, we've been working with Sarah and Paul and the Department of Development and also HRRC to really understand the existing challenge loan program, to understand the loan structure of the program, to understand the technical assistance that I know Keisha will talk about, but really also understand the community needs, the challenges of the challenge loan program, but also the opportunities for improvement. Sarah talked about some of the improvements that we're making, but I'm going to go through them line by line so you can really understand what we're providing through this new product, other than just the loan loss reserve. And so instead of the program or the product being just for Cleveland Heights, the new product will be Cuyahoga County wide. So it will allow for county residents to take a referral from HRRC and the technical assistance they will receive for home repair and home improvement, not just to go to the branch in Severance, at Severance in Cleveland Heights, but to go to any Key Bank branch to take that referral to get that loan product. It will be an unsecured product, so that means that residents or people who apply for this program, that they won't have to get an appraisal to get a new roof or to replace their windows or for an HVAC system. There are no income limitations, meaning like other programs, there's not any requirement for people to be at 80% LMI, or they don't have to meet certain income thresholds. Also, this product is a small dollar home repair product. There's no minimum loan amount. The previous product, I think there was a maximum of $10,000 for the loan amount. Now this product will have a $15,000 maximum. So no minimum, maximum of $15,000. The other two things that I want to add as far as this new product that we're including is that the terms will be up to 84 months. In the previous structure of the program, there was an origination fee, and under this new product, there will be no origination fee. The one thing that we're also keeping that I think Madam Chair was adamant about, and so was KeyBank was adamant about, was the partnership with HRC. We know that as people go through the home improvement process, that they need hand-holding, they need that technical assistance to find a contractor, to work with contractors to go through that process. And we're grateful for the partnership with HRC, and KeyBank will continue to work with them. And we're grateful that County Council, through the second resolution, will be working to support them, hopefully once it goes through the council process. So again, KeyBank is grateful for the partnership with you all, and we're looking forward to moving through this process. So thank you.
Thank you. Couple of questions. I need both you and Ms. Parks at the table, maybe the director. Why are we doing a deposit for 10 years? You know, part of the problem is that none of us serve more than 4.
Good morning, Paul Hertig, Department of Development. The time period of the agreement reflects that loans will be made for a period of time, but those loans will be in effect for a period of time as well. So our guarantee is available until each of the loans is paid off.
So you need time in excess of the 84 months, is that what you're telling me?
Yes, we anticipate there'll be a ramp-up period to get all of the loans made of about 3 years.
The next question is of concern, and I know I've shared this with you, and Sarah, I don't know if I've shared it with Ms. Smith. It is the interest rate. I was hoping to see an interest rate closer to 6, and are we still talking about 10 to 13?
Paul Hertig again. This is an unsecured loan, which means that it is necessarily not going to have the same very favorable rate of interest a home equity loan would have. I would emphasize, and I believe Keisha will speak to this when she comes up, the only way to this loan is through Home Repair Resource Center. This is not a loan that people are going to walk off the street and apply for, and that's very important to us because I believe that every homeowner should be directed to the product that's best for them. If they can possibly get a secured equity loan at the low rate that brings, that's how they should be directed. They should never be steered to an unsecured product if a secured product is available. In addition, if the homeowner qualifies for a grant program, they should be directed to that. So we're really looking at Home Repair Resource Center to make sure the homeowner's best interests are protected here.
Okay, to get my vote, you need to get Keisha up here to talk to me about this.
And one thing I'll add before we bring that up, the fact is there's a place for unsecured lending. That is when there's a need for something to be done and there's not equity available. I will give a personal example. Early in my career as a homeowner in Village of Orange, we had a need to replace the heating system. We had not yet paid down our loan to where we had equity, and I myself took out an unsecured home repair loan to replace the heating system. The rate was higher than the rate would have been on a home equity loan. So again, we are only directing this product to those for whom no cheaper alternatives available, but it fills a very real need for that segment of the market.
And so we're depending on our coaches, and HRC has the best example of how they coach. So if you could bring Keisha up to talk to us for a moment. I'm sorry, Ms. Smith, did you have something you wanted to share?
Yes, Madam Chair, may I add that as individuals are coached through HRC, as they come to the bank branch, and say maybe they bring a referral document, our bank branch teammates will also let individuals know other products that they may be eligible for as well. So maybe individual may come in and say, we want this challenge loan. If they're eligible for another loan that may better fit their needs, we are required to educate them on other products as well.
Okay. Well, before we go to Keisha, one more question for you, Ms. Smith. So who coaches your bankers? We're talking about branch managers and who else?
So we will, as part of this program, we will be creating product guidelines for all of our branches, our Cuyahoga County branches and branch teammates, which is part of the process right now that we are meeting weekly right now with Keisha to make sure that we have everything in alignment for our branch teammates. So that's part of our process right now. So our enterprise learning team will be putting together the materials for our branch teammates.
And so there are small branches I've noticed that Key has, and some larger branches, meaning I go in one and there's tellers.
Every
branch manager. And then I go to some and they have 4 cubicles with folks who talk to you on an individual basis, as well as the tellers.
Madam Chair, every individual within the branch will need to know and learn this new product and service that we provide.
All your teammates will be coached.
Yes, in the branch.
Not just the ones who sit and do the individual services.
Yes.
Okay. Uh-huh.
We would need to ask the clerk to read into the record.
Well, I'm asking her questions in relationship to this. This one.
Her, the 0247, the two are one product.
They're linked, you're telling me?
So I think it would be better if we could read that into the record as well, and then
I want to vote on them separately. They're 2 separate requests. One is for $1 million directly to Key. The other is for 1.5 directly to HRRC, correct? So hold on just a second. There is a method to my madness. If we could just have Keisha come up and tell us how she coaches folks when they go for a loan. That's all I want to know about that. And then there are going to be a series of other questions. Remember, Keisha's in Cleveland Heights. She's used to me and my questions. So she can deal with this. Come on up, Keisha.
Miss Allen, if you would come on
Because this is
up.
a way for Key to get their money. Or the deposit that will be an investment to help them lend to more folks in the community.
Good morning, Chairman and Chairwoman Stevens, Cuyahoga County Council. My name is Keisha Allen. I'm the Executive Director at Home Repair Resource Center. For the last 50 years, we've run this successful Challenge Fund loan program. The reason why that program is successful is we create a rapport with someone who doesn't get a chance to be taken a chance on. The bank says no because of their credit. Their house is underwater because of our landscape in regards to housing stock. So Home Repair Resource developed this program to support homeowners who couldn't go to those necessarily conventional options. Now, the things that's important about this is we're not just sending folks to Key Bank to get a loan. We are working with them in regards to budgeting for this repair, prioritizing this repair, prioritizing the next repair, working with licensed, insured, contracted, and bonded, or not contracted, but bonded contractors to be able to make sure they're getting a sufficient repair. And the key point about this is that throughout this whole process, when Ms. Smith comes to Home Repair Resource Center for that porch repair, we don't leave her after she receives those funds. We follow up, make sure that the contractor did the work successfully. We follow up even after that job has been done to make sure that that porch is sustainable and that she is able to stay in that home for as long as she can. This is a vital program that I've been trying to push and get support for since I've been executive director since 2016. And I'm very, very happy that the Cuyahoga Development Department, Councilwoman Stevens has very much supported this, as well as the unfortunate situation of the ARPA funds being able to kind of make this program flourish. As Ms. Jackson was talking, there's a second piece about this, but the fact that Key Bank has been able to come to the table, along with the development department as well as council, to see the value in getting this program expanded is huge. This is a resource and a tool that folks like our partners at CHN and other bigger developments don't have the capacity to really see through to fruition. And that's why we're asking the Cuyahoga County Development Department and this council body to make sure that this program is a success, as it's been for the past 50 years.
Okay, so hold on a second. This is an element of success for a family.
Correct.
So when you begin to coach them, it might look at first as if they can afford one of the pools of money that has a lower interest rate. When do you direct them to this pool?
Well, there's several programs through the work of Ms. Jackson and Deputy Herdig. There's other ARPA dollar and general funds that are being used for our partners at Community Housing Solutions to serve 80% lower and seniors for home repairs, as well as CHN, who has an in-house loan product that would help other homeowners. Mm-hmm. This is a product of last resort. So while we'll talk about the next piece, there's going to be even more options for the homeowner to be able to complete their repairs. And even in getting a referral to another program, our supportive services will still continue with the client as they go through.
So can you give me the profile of the person who goes to last resort, this kind of last resort? Because that interest rate bothers me.
The interest rate is something of concern, but the typical client is someone who may have taken out a second mortgage at some point in the past 10 years. Their home has not recouped the amount of equity that it needs to be able to get a conventional mortgage, as well as maybe something occurred with their credit or financial circumstances where they're unable to get it. We look at the repair, we look at the client's budget, we prioritize what needs to be done for sustainable and safety. These are not backsplashes and granite counters. These are porches, roofs, things that keep folks in their home. So after that process, then we pretty much explain to them what the responsibilities of the product are. We try to pull as many other resources together so they can have the lowest amount of financing of needed to them. We've been working very hard with Key Bank on that unsecured piece, because as the program currently stands, Home Repair Resource Center as well as Key Bank holds a silent second on those properties, which kind of preserves the interest of Key as well as Home Repair Resource Center. Over the past 50 years, we are able to boast a 94% success rate on those numbers, being that the client and the homeowner feels the rapport in which this was a product of last resort. And the follow-up, the project management, and everything that we put along with the project has that homeowner confident in being able to make the payment as well as appreciative to do so.
Ms. Jackson?
If I may, the funding that would be provided through council's ARPA participation in this program would be used to allow for the principal write-down. So a homeowner receiving a loan of $10,000 or more will have that loan written down by $5,000 if they're in one of the 3 districts that are providing funding. So that will be of assistance as well. So that $10,000 loan turns into a $5,000 loan.
Okay. So literally a loan can be paid off in a shorter period of time, which gives you an effective interest rate that's lower.
Yes, that's correct. For the 3 districts that are participating.
And I'm one of those 3 participating
districts. Yes, ma'am, you are.
So
as is Councilwoman Turner and Councilman Jones.
So effectively, our constituents will receive an effective write-down on that interest rate if they pay it off in a shorter period of time.
That's correct, because their principal amount will be lower.
Very smart on your part. All right. Final comments.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
to my colleagues, I would just like to take this opportunity to commend Chairperson Stevens on the work that she has done through the Reinvestment Advisory Committee. I know that expanding the challenge loan program has been a major goal of that committee, and I'm not sure if we would be at this place if it weren't for the leadership that she provided through that committee. And so I just want to recognize that important contribution.
Thank you to my colleague, but most importantly, there was the willingness of staff to work with me. I have a vested interest in both of the folks that are at the table's careers today. So their success is my success. My success, in part, is their success. We are, the three of us, committed to helping the communities of Cuyahoga County and their folks live better. You heard me earlier. There's a shortage of affordable housing, and there's also a shortage of funds available to folks whose homes have aged and fallen into some level of disrepair. And agencies like HRRC present a bright hope for us. For 50 years, they've done the right thing consistently, and we've had the good luck to consistently find good executive directors like Miss Allen, who even when times are tough, she puts a smile on her face and does the hard thing to try and figure out how to make sure that home ownership is not a disaster for families, and that families do not live in houses that are substandard. And so I am not alone. I just represent a troop, an almost army of people who care about our communities. And so I take that recognition on behalf of my colleagues in the fight for good and affordable housing. Thank you. Ms. Jackson, Mr. Hurdick, anything else to say for this legislation?
No, ma'am, we'd like second read under suspension.
Mr. Director?
Support everything Sarah and the others have said. Thank you.
So I make a motion to move this resolution to the next full council meeting with recommendation of passage for second reading.
And I have a second over here from Mr. Gallagher. If there are any other questions? No further questions. Is there a motion to approve? The motion is to approve. All in favor say aye.
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 No objections? Any nays? Congratulations. This moves forward to the full body of council.
Madam Chair, I just want to confirm this is for second reading suspension or second reading?
Mr. Hurdick?
Second reading suspension, please.
I said second reading. So do I have to, I'm going to amend the motion, and I guess, do I have to take back my first motion? I'll do that. I'm going to take back my first motion and the second withdraw, and then I'm going to move that this matter be moved to the next full council meeting with a recommendation of passage under second reading suspension.
Thank you.
Would you please add my name to this legislation?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. Who said that?
Add my name.
Thank you.
All right. I think y'all need to stay there, don't you?
Madam Chair, I would also like my name added. Thank you.
Though,
Madam Clerk, if you would add Mr. Miller's name.
Mr. Miller, Ms. Turner, Councilman Gallagher as well.
All right. Is this the last one of the morning?
We need to have another vote since it was amended and withdrawn.
Okay. Do I have a motion on the floor?
we already did, first, second,
All in favor, please
Aye.
say aye. Any opposed? The motion passes as requested. Thank you. We have two more.
Yes. Resolution 2022-0246, making an award on requisition 9317 to Community Housing Solutions in the amount not to exceed $1,700,000 to provide home repair grants and loans to eligible homeowners for the Homeowner Repair Program for the period June 1st, 2022 through May 5th, through May 31st, 2024 from the 2022 Community Development Block Grant Program Fund and the District 7 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Sarah Parks Jackson, Department of Development. This award is a product of our request for proposals for home repairs. It is using our community development block grant funds in the amount of $1 million. It is also using $700,000 of general fund due to ARPA funds provided by Councilwoman Yvonne Conwell for the senior residents in her district. The CDBG funding is limited to residents within the urban county, which means
non-entitlement.
The entitlements cannot participate, and residents must be 80% or lower of the area median income as prescribed by HUD. We have different criteria for the general fund ARPA dollars provided by Councilwoman Conwell for her district. Predominantly, those will be seniors who will more than likely meet the income similar to the HUD guidelines.
Any questions from my colleagues? I will entertain a motion at this point in time.
I can make a motion to move this
Thank you so much.
next full council meeting for second reading, correct?
A second for Mr.
Yes,
Gallagher.
second reading.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? This resolution passage. On to full council. Madam Clerk, what's up next?
Resolution 2022-0247, making an award on requisition 9317 to Home Repair Resource Center in the amount not to exceed $1,500,000 for home repair financial counseling and support services for the Challenge Program for the period June 1st, 2022 through May 31st, 2025 from the General Fund and from the District 8 ARPA Community Grant Fund, the District 9 ARPA Community Grant Fund, and the District 10 Community Grant Fund.
Sarah Parks Jackson, Department of Development. This is the complementary piece to the loan loss reserve. You've already heard from Director Takesha Allen from the Home Repair Resource Center and the support that she will provide to this program.
Okay, this is 3 years or 4 years?
3.
And it covers not just financial counseling and general support, but overhead and operations?
That's correct, yes.
All right. Let's have Ms. Allen back up for one more performance. This allows you and HRRC to do what?
To grow. We're going to need to build our capacity. And again, good afternoon now. My name is Keisha Allen, Executive Director of Home Repair Resource Center. I'd like to say on behalf of our board team members, we'd like to thank Executive Budish, the Department of Development, Cuyahoga County members, and KeyBank for collaborating and in support of this. A special thanks to Council President Jones, Councilwomen Turner and Stephen for their additional support for homeowners who reside in their districts 8, 9, and 10. For 50 years, the Challenge Fund program serves as a vital resource for homeowners seeking home repairs. Eligible homeowners receive an intensive set of housing, counseling, project support services for their home repair, where staff works closely with homeowners on budgeting for the repair, prioritizing repair needs, developing repair specifications, and providing a reputable contractor list, and serving as a resource source throughout the whole process. This comprehensive and personalized approach is why the program has been such a success, and we're eager to work with residents throughout the county. One key piece of this is also a supplement to the loan, the repair grant or loan from the Challenge Fund. But what we're looking to do is to spread the benefit as wide as we can. And by prioritizing repairs, perhaps the up to $5,000 grant suffices for the time being, for which we follow up with the client to be able to prepare them for a better product, perhaps a secure product through KeyBank or other resources. So this is a product that's hopefully going to provide sustainability for the neighborhoods all across Cuyahoga County. And the capacity support and administrative support will allow our team and our board to maintain and acquire the quality staff that is needed to be able to expand this program throughout the county. Thank you.
Questions? Even though you have to wait at the end of the day, no more torturing?
One more
Ms.
motion.
Jackson, how do you need this to be structured?
Suspension, please, to match the loan loss reserve.
Okay.
Final
Yes,
motion.
please.
So I move this matter be moved to the next full council meeting with a recommendation of passage for second reading.
There's a second from Mr. Gallagher.
Or do you want a suspension?
Yes.
Okay,
please.
so I amend that to a second reading suspension.
Do you agree, Mr. Gallagher? Yes. He agrees.
Okay.
Here we go. All in favor? Any opposed? Congratulations. This moves on to the full body of council.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
may I have my name added?
certainly. All right. Do I have any miscellaneous business today? Yes, I do. I have one item of miscellaneous business. Madam Clerk, and to my colleagues, Ms. Baker needs to be excused. I don't believe she's feeling well. So she called and indicated whatever she has, she does not want to share with us. And I'm fine with her not sharing this. I'm sorry?
We don't have to excuse at committee hearings, but
Okay.
is it? But I can.
Okay, then we're good. I'm excusing her. All right, anything else for the good of the order? If not, thank you all for your participation in this lengthy process. Have a good afternoon.